Recently I tested the amazing Epic 2 and what a piece of engineering. Well, this week it's time to check out the bigger brother, the full power FAC version. Hello and welcome to AAR On Air. Today is the turn of the FAC Epic 2 in the longer length 550mm barrel version. There is of course an even longer 700mm version if you prefer. For those who haven't seen the original Sub 12 review, that is available by clicking on the link here. The Epic range is modular, which means you really do get one to suit you. That modular system includes calibers, naturally, barrel lengths such as 300, 550 or the 700. You can have normal air cylinder or the higher capacity carbon fibre bottle versions, such as this one, which has the huge 580cc capacity bottle fitted. On top of all of that, you have bag risers, monopods, tripods, Arca Swiss or Picatinny rail systems, laminate grips and cheek rest. Heck, the list is pretty much endless. But rather than simply creating a list here, let's take a closer look at this one that I've got. This is the middle length barrel that gives an overall length with the folding stock unlocked or open around 106 centimetres or 41 3/4 inches. Don't forget, of course, you can fold the stock on this and it will reduce the overall length to around 80 centimetres for carrying around, meaning you don't need to have a really long case that may not fit in your car boot. Just though, make sure that it's deep enough to be able to take that width when the stock is folded. Now, these lengths don't take into account a silencer which you are likely to need, especially on this FAC version. And this Epic allows you to use either the specific Epic version that fits onto the purpose-made thread and use most any 1/2-inch UNF silencer of your choice, so you're not tied to theirs either. Anyone who has held or used an Epic is probably already aware of the fact that they are a little more on the weighty side, which gives you an idea of how well these are constructed. This carbon bottle and carbon shrouded version, the weight of this unscoped and unsilenced tips the scales at 4.65 kilograms, which is 10 pounds 4 ounces, which, whilst on the heavier side, isn't out of the way, and of course for target work down the range will only add stability. And if you're out in the field, then there are plenty of options for fitting a rest, including the unbelievably good carbon fibre tripod from Epic. This particular Epic 2 has the longer rail system on the underside, incorporating the Arca Swiss and standard Picatinny systems. This isn't plastic, as is often found on some cheaper tactical rifles, hence the slightly higher weight. This FAC version comes with a power adjuster on the right hand side. On the left hand side is the manometer to keep an eye on the pressure and shows its fill pressure of 300 bar on a white on black face gauge, which is very easy to read. The regulator gauge is on the underside. One thing worth mentioning at this point is this does, as I've just said, go up to a 300 bar fill. Now most air tanks are 300 bar. The first time you take a fill from it. After that, of course, it goes down. So at that point, and if you're buying something that is up to 300 bar and you want to be able to keep it topped up full, you're going to need something like a compressor to keep it to that 300 bar consistently. Back to the gun. The safety is on the right hand side and is a simple rotating click system with up for safe and forward for fire. The super smooth side lever is on the right hand side and is short and defined. The triggers on these are fully adjustable with a rotary blade, which is a personal favourite of mine. The grip on this is the original grip, but would look amazing with one of those laminate options. The top rail is 30 MOA and is Picatinny, as you would expect, for those easy scope changes. And it's focused, of course, on longer range shooting. Time to get this over the chronograph to see what this has been set at power-wise in this 2.2 caliber version. Well, first up was to load this slug favouring designed CZ unchoked barrel with a fairly standard 15.89 grain pellet, just for giggles. And yes, it went supersonic and was very, very loud, hitting 1136 feet per second, which is a comfortable 45.54 foot-pounds or 61.75 joules. Which is healthy power-wise, but is likely to prove pretty useless when it comes to accuracy, with the spiralling effect that is likely to happen at these supersonic speeds. So, on a more serious note, I dropped in some 20 grain slugs. The results were 1,031 feet per second, which is 47.22 foot-pounds or 64.02 joules. Now, I've had more power from a 2.2 caliber gun snipe, but it has to be said we did that just for the heck of it, rather than trying to find a usable power level. And 47 foot-pounds is definitely what I would call usable. So naturally, it's time to get this out on the range and put that power to the accuracy test. I've fitted a Continental 4-24x56 34mm tubed Continental because they're amazing, and a rifle of this quality needs some high-end optics to go with it. So, time to move everything back and get this out on the 100-metre range and push the envelope, as they say. Here goes using slugs. The Epic 2 in FAC. I've not made many adjustments, if any, to be honest. All I've done is I've dropped Continental scope on the top of this with the it's the medium barrel, I suppose, medium length, kicking out 40 odd foot-pounds, as you've already seen. I'm using the tripod and just a bit of a bag rest. It's only cobbled together, to be fair, and we're shooting down at 100 metres. Now, ironically enough, somebody actually left a comment once that why don't you put the camera over your shoulder and see what it looks like so we can see what you're shooting. So I did show you, and here's the footage of what it looks like and how much you're actually going to see, which is not a lot. Hence the reason right down the bottom there is a camera set up with a 150mm lens on it to try and zoom in a bit, and even still I'm going to have to cut it even further in the editing because I don't want to put it directly in the line of fire. So enough of that. I've already put my 10,000 steps in, going backwards and forwards. And it's all about shooting this. Now, ironically enough, you've just seen I'm using some Zan projectiles. Somebody got hold of them for me. I think it was Luke just ordered some. He said have some of these. I think they might be from Giles, actually, Airgun 101. I think that's where they got them from. So I don't know. I've just put them in. I've not used anything else. I'm not using pellets because this is an unchoked CZ barrel. We'll see how they fare. They are kicking out a serious amount of power, and they're still around about 1100, I think. They're certainly over the 1000 mark as far as power is concerned and feet per second. So let's give it a go. I've got this on maximum. It is only 24 times magnification, and it's a long way down. It's actually just over 100 meters. And the issue really we have is there isn't a lot of wind, but there is breeze, and it blows at different points down there. And I've had a go already, and the breeze does have a serious, you can feel it now coming again, has a serious effect on the accuracy. That is first attempt. Now, we've got all of them pretty much apart from one within the 9 circle. Some of them are actually touching, but they're within the 9. Now, it's on a breezy day. I don't think that is too bad, to be fair. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to give it another go and see if we can actually improve on that. But that's first attempt. I've tried to stabilise everything at this end. I just can't stabilise the air between here and down the bottom end. It's coming again. You can actually see the oak tree moving about a fair bit. It's going to be a difficult one, this is, but I really want to stretch this out. If there's breaks in the film, it's because I've cut out the boring bits while I've been waiting for the wind to die down. So, here goes. Happy with that. In fact, I'm ecstatic about that, to be honest. That is really amazing how that's actually grouped. I've fallen very lucky between the wind on that one, and most of them are, well, it's a very good group. I mean, you'd be quite pleased with that, with a sub 12 at around about 40-50 metres. You'd be really pleased. So I am well impressed. What have I done? What have I changed? Well, to be honest, nothing against these Zan slugs at all, because they're lovely in the packaging and everything else, and it may suit a different gun because they're all preloaded individual. I think they're really nice. But what I've actually done is gone for just some HP slugs, which are H&N, and it seems to like them. They're a bit heavier, they're 25 grain, they're a bit more solid, and they just come sort of rough in a tin, which has surprised me. But we've said it so many times, it's the wand that chooses the wizard, it's the barrel that chooses the pellets, not me, not you. It will choose, and I haven't gone extensively. There could be other stuff that it actually prefers, but it certainly seems to like those H&Ns. I'm really pleased with that. I am really pleased with that grouping. Not bad at all, but I fell lucky with the wind. It calmed down just at that time. So yeah, there you go. That's the Epic 2 in FAC, 40 odd foot-pounds with a beautiful Continental scope on. I am biased, I admit it. I've got these on a lot of my guns, and yeah, really, really nice. Cheated a bit, I suppose you could argue, the toss, because I used the proper tripod. My God, it makes it stable. It really does make that whole thing stable. In fact, I'm probably doing more damage moving and doing it around. You could almost leave it and let it try and shoot itself. Beautiful gun indeed. And if you're looking in the FAC market, I don't think you can go wrong with that. 2.2 caliber as well. You could go a lot bigger. I think they're to a 9mm, believe it or not. But anyway, we're not going to go into that one. That's it. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the studio. That's been a challenge. You know, using an FAC rifle rather than a sub 12 foot-pound one, and out at more than twice the normal distance used, is quite a challenge. And whilst I certainly wasn't looking to get pellet on pellet accuracy out at that distance, I think the Epic has certainly proven its ability out at longer ranges. Now, I purposely shot it with slugs, and I was determined to try the new Zans, which I think are a very good high quality slug. And I think you can get them from Airgun 101, so that's Giles's territory. Now, I tried them, I like them, but it's not whether I like them, is it? And I found that using the just standard tin slug HPs, which I think are 25 grain, that saw a much better result, and it really pulled the group in. Now, basically, it simply means that the Epic prefers the H&Ns to the Zans. Nothing wrong with the Zans, it's just that the 2 doesn't like them. Now, I realise that this week's review is not in everyone's price range, when this particular Epic 2, without the scope, is around £2,600 mark. But not everyone can afford a Ferrari, but they still watch car programmes with them in just to see how they perform. So if all you can afford is a £150 Springer, then no one is suggesting you can afford one of these. And perhaps comments around affordability? Well, you get it. If, however, you're really into your shooting and want the best and can afford it, then this is quite likely to need to be on your shortlist. It is a thing of beauty to behold and use. And that's coming from a non-tactical fan, but a fan of quality and a rifle's ability. Oh, and there's no electrics to shorten its usable life, maybe. That's it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's review. If you have, please give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget there is this little lot and the AAR on Air Green project that so many of you have got on board with. It means an awful lot to me, and I really appreciate the positive responses and comments. The link to get involved is in the notes section below. There is the AAR on Air website with merch, etc. All net proceeds from that merch is going to the Green Air project. A big thank you to the guys at Vector Air for their help and support with this one and so much more. And of course, the biggest thanks goes out to you guys for getting involved and supporting what we're trying to achieve here on the channel. Please stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully, excuse me, voice is going, I'll see you all next week with even more stuff. Stay safe and shoot safe. Bye for now. This is amazing.